Hello, my lovely students. A very warm welcome to all of you. Your AG ma'am, Anubha ma'am, is welcoming you to the session of electrolysis, a new chapter for all the ICSE 10th class students. But I hope you are following both the channel, Hindi as well as English channel, because I have divided all the topics of a chapter in both the channels so that I will be able to complete your syllabus as fast as possible. So please stay tuned, please subscribe to both the channel and keep following all the videos. So what are we going to learn in this session, everyone? That I'll let you know very soon. But a very good and positive note in front of you by Oprah Winfrey, and that is be thankful for what you have, you'll end up having more. Students, a sense of gratitude is very much important in life. You'll be more happy and you will be able to achieve your goal. You will be able to get more and more things in your life. But if you'll always focus on what I am not having, what others are having, that will always will lead you to a path that you'll never have enough. You'll get that feeling, I'll never have enough, even if you'll get so many things. So please have that sense of gratitude. Please have that sense of positivity and a calmness that will always help you to reach on your goals. All right, students. So please make it a note. And let's go right now, because what are we going to talk about in this session? We are going to talk about characteristics of electrolysis, how you can perform electrolysis. To understand that, we must know so many terms before that. And let ma'am start with the oxidation and reduction. So are you all with me? Keep liking the videos of this channel as well. Keep supporting, keep subscribing to the channel if you're new, because all the videos are coming on your way. And let's talk about oxidation and reduction. I'm pretty sure most of you know about it. What exactly is oxidation? I'll tell you all the possible aspects to understand oxidation. And the very important one is when we talk about electrons, that how loss and gain of electrons can be considered as oxidation and reduction. And you can remember with the help of, I should say, a mnemonics that will help you, and that is Leo goes to Grr. And how that will help you to understand oxidation and reduction method better. Leo means loss of electron is oxidation. Grr, gain of electron is reduction. Okay, that Leo goes to Grr will help you to understand this method, because earlier we used to consider oxidation and reduction in terms of loss and gain of hydrogen or oxygen. That is like an older approach. Now we have a better approach that is in front of you. Loss of electron is oxidation and gain of electron is reduction. Let's start with oxidation. That when we see metals are having this property that in their last shell they are having either 1, 2 or 3 valence electron, and that can be easily lost. So metals are the one that shows the property of oxidation. They will oxidize themselves. So zinc can lose 2 electron, and I can write it zinc plus 2. We can always write it, but please make a note, whenever we write a chemical reaction, we don't generally use minus sign. So better way to write it is zinc will convert to zinc plus 2 ion after loss of 2 electron, because every electron is having a negative charge. When you lose 2 electron, your metal, your substance will become plus 2. And plus 2 electron means this will convert to this plus 2 electron that it has lost. Same sodium, as you know that configuration is 281, can lose its 1 electron to give you Na positive ions. And why metal are doing this? Just to get a stable configuration similar to noble gas. In terms of sulfur, when I say sulfur with minus 2 charge, sulfur has already gained 2 electron. Here sulfur is already gaining 2 electron, that's why having minus 2 charge. If it will lose its 2 electron, it will again came to its neutral form. Minus 2 is the charge. If it's losing these 2 electrons that it has gained, that's why minus 2, it will again come to neutral state, because minus 2 and after loss of 2 electron, it will give plus 2. Charge will cancel out. Please do understand that. So generally do remember that. You can make it a note. Metal shows oxidation. Metals can oxidize themselves. Okay, and when I talk about the early approach, that's what in terms of oxygen and hydrogen. Oxidation word itself came from oxygenation, means addition, oxygen addition. So when I talk about this carbon, magnesium, they are adding oxygen in themselves to give a product that substance is getting oxidized. carbon with oxygen, carbon dioxide, magnesium with oxygen, magnesium dioxide. That means they are undergoing oxidation. Also, removal of hydrogen. Hydrogen is like, I'm feeling bad, please include me also. So hydrogen will work on the opposite way. That's loss of hydrogen is also considered as oxidation. So look at this, my hydrogen sulfide in the product side, when I see that converts to sulfur, means loss of hydrogen, and loss of hydrogen means oxidization or oxidation. Hydrogen sulfide is oxidized to sulfur. Very simple. So as we know now oxidation, we must know what is oxidizing agent. Oxidizing agent is an agent that does oxidation of other substance, that helps in getting the other substance oxidized. And how the substance can do the same, oxidation, you already know that loss of electron or gain of oxygen or loss of hydrogen, right? If you are having a substance that can do any of the job to other substance, that can help any substance to lose its electron, how it will gain those electron. If it will lose, it will gain and helping in the other substance. If this substance can help the other substance to gain oxygen, and how this can help by losing its oxygen so that the other can gain it. How the other substance can lose its hydrogen? If it will gain the hydrogen. Okay, that's how it's helping. Your agent is helping the other substance to lose the electron by gaining it. Will help the other substance to gain oxygen by losing oxygen to it, and by loss of hydrogen to the other substance by gaining those hydrogen. Means if the other substance is getting oxidized, how it can helping itself by itself getting reduced. Okay, because it will show opposite property, it will does an opposite job to itself for helping the other. So oxidizing agent is an agent that oxidize the other substance by itself getting reduced. All right, so you got the point that I told you. Very awesome. We should know some example, because oxidizing agent, reducing agents example, we must know that that will help us to understand electrolysis process in an easy way. We must know that. So oxidizing agent is not necessary to be a solid only. That could be solid, liquid and gases. There are some example in front of you. Manganese dioxide, a brownish black color substance, acting as an oxidizing agent because it can give oxidation to other substance. Give oxygen to other substance. Lead I have, lead oxide I have. These are the example of oxidizing agent that does oxidation of other substance by itself getting reduced. Okay. Liquids, we have hydrogen peroxide, and do remember that concentrated acids are generally better OAs, better oxidizing agents. Gases, oxygen, even ozone, even chlorine and SO2 can also act as oxidizing agent and can perform the oxidation of the other substance by itself getting reduced. They are giving its oxygen to the other substance, or in a way they are helping the other substance to lose its electron and they can gain it. Example, chlorine. Chlorine is Cl2. Chlorine can also gain 2 electron. Every chlorine can gain 2 electron and to become 2Cl minus. And how it is gaining electron? Because the other substance is losing it, so it's helping the other substance to lose its electron by itself gaining it, by itself getting reduced. So they reduce itself by oxidizing the other substance. And reduction, definitely an opposite job. I hope you got it properly. Reduction, GER, gain of electron, that's what is reduction. And there are some example in front of us. When I talk about metal ion, metal generally will be there in the positive ion, cation, and they can gain its electron to get rid of its charge. Copper +2, if I give 2 electron, that's -2, charge will cancel, I got my metal in the free form. Metal cation can gain electron to give you a free metal. Do remember that. It's a very important thing and will help you to understand electrolysis better, because there we are going to do this job only, loss of electron from one substance and gain of electron to the other substance. Sulfur configuration is 286, can gain 2 electron to give you a sulfide ion. Non-metal have this property. Do remember that, as I told you, metal have this property to lose electron and show oxidation. Non-metal have this property to gain electron and show reduction. Non-metal generally reduce themselves. All right, so you got this point properly. And metal cation can also gain the electron to give you free metal. I hope more process and more fundamental points of reduction is also clear, that reduction is something that's removed, and in terms of oxygen, that's the removal of oxygen as well. So we can see here we have a copper oxide black color substance. When hydrogen gases pass over it, I got my copper, and that's because of loss of oxygen. That's hydrogen is doing this job, and loss of oxygen is nothing but reduction. So I can define reduction in that way also. That's my loss of oxygen, and also addition of hydrogen. Oxidation and reduction works in the opposite way. Yeah, so oxidation is removal of hydrogen, and addition of hydrogen is your reduction. So we see that here chlorine, whenever react with hydrogen sulfide gas, is giving this. Chlorine converts to HCl, means hydrogen is added and showing reduction. So what will I say? That my chlorine is getting reduced to HCl. Here also my chlorine is getting reduced to HCl, and NH3, loss of hydrogen, that's what getting oxidized. Okay, and when a single reaction is showing oxidation as well as reduction simultaneously, such reactions are also called as redox reaction, and that's what we will understand in our electrolysis as well. One substance will lose electron, other will gain it, and we'll call it in total a redox reaction. Okay, and if you know about reduction now, I can tell you about reducing agent that helps the other substance to getting reduced. And getting reduced means the substance will gain electron, the substance will lose lose oxygen, or gain hydrogen. The substance, if will gain electron, lose oxygen, or gain hydrogen, means the substance will get reduced, and this reducing agent will help the other substance to do any of the job. So what it will do, if it has to gain electron, it has to give the electron to it. So it will give its electron. That means it will show oxidation, right? This substance has to lose oxygen, so it has to take those oxygen. Gain of oxygen, oxidation. Gain hydrogen means it has to give oxygen, give hydrogen. That means again oxidation. Means a reducing agent is the one that reduces the other substance by itself getting oxidized. Please do remember that, and we should know the enough example for the same. We have solid, liquid and gases kind of reducing agents, carbon and generally metal. If you remember, ma'am told you metals are the one that lose electron in general, and that means getting oxidized. If they lose electron and get oxidized, other substance has to accept those electron, and by accepting, the other substance has to reduce itself. So metal is helping to reduce the other substance by giving its electron. So metals are good Ra. Metals are good reducing agent. Please make it a note. Please write it as an important point. Will help you in this chapter. Metals are good reducing agent. Non-metals are the one in general have this ability to gain electron. If they will gain electron, other has to lose it, and other substance has to get oxidized. So non-metal is good oxidizing agent. Metals are good reducing agent. Okay, I'll write it in short. Metal good OA, non-metal good Ra. Okay, sorry, I wrote it in reverse way. Metals Ra, reducing agent, and non-metal OA, oxidizing agent. In general, I'm talking about. Yeah. Some more example of liquid reducing agent, hydrogen peroxide, HI, HBr, and they will do what? They will reduce the other substance, because other substance has to gain the hydrogen. And do remember that there are some substances that is acting as both oxidizing agent as well as reducing agent. My H2O2 and SO2 are among those substances that will show both the job, oxidization as well as reduction. Just because of here oxygen and sulfur showing more than one type of oxidation state. Oxidation state is the charge present on the substance that can be more than one possible form, can have a variety of charge. So oxygen in hydrogen peroxide is having -1 charge, but you know that hydrogen can carry oxygen can carry 0 charge as well as -2. When oxygen is in the free form, elemental form, oxygen is carrying no charge, means 0 charge. We say atom is neutral. So oxygen in the free form, elemental form, 0 charge. And oxygen, you know that is having a capacity to gain 2 electron to complete its octet. So -2 also it can show. Right now it's in -2 oxidation state. In H2O2, oxygen is -2, -1. So what it can do, it can gain one more electron to become -2, and gain of electron reduction. That means it will oxidize the other substance and acting as oxidizing agent. On the other hand, -1 to 0 is also possible. That means it can lose this one electron also to become 0. If it's losing electron, other has to gain it and has to reduce. Means in that case, they can act as both oxidizing as well as reducing agent. So those kind of substances that can show more than one type of oxidation state, and if they are in the middle of oxidation state, they can lose and gain electron to do both kind of a job. And my hydrogen peroxide, my sulfur dioxide are some of the example for the same. All right, and we are done talking about different cases where we show that how these substances are acting as reducing agent. You can easily get the PDF of the session, students. After some time, probably 1 hour after the session, the PDF will be available in the YouTube description box of this video. You can download it as well. So I hope this part is totally clear, that a reaction can show oxidation as well as reduction simultaneously and known as reducing. A redox reaction, one substance will act as OA, oxidizing agent, one will act as RA, reducing agent. Here copper +2 is there, and it's doing what? Gaining 2 electron to get rid of its charge, and gain of electron, reduction. Magnesium is becoming +2, means loss of electron and oxidation. In a way, you can say that magnesium is losing 2 electron and giving to copper, so that copper can get reduced, right? So magnesium is acting as here RA, reducing agent, helping copper +2 to get reduced. My copper +2 needs 2 electron and magnesium gives its 2 electron to copper +2. Magnesium lost its 2 electron, copper +2 had to do that to magnesium, that it's lose its electron. So copper +2 is acting as OA, oxidizing agent, helping magnesium to lose its electron and showing oxidation. So this is OA, this is RA. I hope you got this point as well. You can see it again and again to make it more clear that what is reducing agent and what is oxidizing agent. Does reduction, does oxidation. Itself get oxidized, itself get reduced. All right. So I hope these points are totally clear in your mind, and you can check yourself, think, and please put it in your mind that how can you differentiate between the two. All right, everyone. Before moving ahead, I just want to say some of the things that if you all are facing certain issues, like if your doubts are not getting solved instantly and you feel stuck, and if your 70-80% time is going in making notes at this crucial time, the problems can be solved at Vedantu platform, where your doubts are going to get solved instantly with the help of master teachers and class teachers. You will get the notes of each and every session with all the important questions of the particular session, test after every 15 days, assignment after every session with all the twisted kind of a question for better revision, competitive exams preparation side by side, JEE, NEET, JSTSC, NTSC, Olympiad, possible with the choice of your own schedule and with the choice of your own language. Own language here I means Hindi, English or English. You can choose with your own schedule. It's like student-centric platform where you do not need to struggle about the same. So all problems will be solved with so much of bonuses, like you will be able to attend unlimited class in a day, and all micro courses, chapter based courses, so that there will be no knowledge gap in between all of the chapters, and performance reports after every session, that how well you're doing, and personalized attention of master teachers and class teachers. Chemistry experts will be there in the session too. And I'm talking about the course that's not for chemistry but overall all the 10th class students. So there is a link in the description box pinned by Vedantu 9/10th. Whenever you open it, that this is the link for pro subscription. This page will be open. Select your grade 10th. Select your subscription over there by selecting ICSE 10th class as your grade, and you can choose your subscription from 1, 3 and 6 months. All are equally best. It's all about the duration and all about the monetary benefit that you're going to get for longer term. For 1 month, you can save 20, for 3 months, 31%, 6 months, 43%. If you will apply the code AG Ma'am's code AGE, E is for this channel English, AGE PRO. Pro is the subscription course. So I think you'll take it as an opportunity, and the best one right now for you guys is this one, because the minimum, the moderate period of time that you can spend and all of your doubts can get solved and you'll be able to see your growth. So do not miss it. Link in the description box. Code is AGE PRO. All right, everyone. Now we will talk about all the possible characteristics of electrolysis, and to understand that, those points were needed most, and in the next lecture also it will help us. So students, if I talk about theory of electrolytic dissociation, because to perform electrolysis we'll be needing an electrolyte, and Svante Arrhenius in 1887 gave a theory for the same, that how my electrolyte is going to dissociate and what important points we should know. So let's talk about that one by one. The very first one is what? Electrolyte on dissolving in water dissociate into free mobile ions, positive and negative, and allow current to flow. Whenever we perform electrolysis, we will switch on the battery connecting to two metal rod, and we are going to take an electrolytic solution also. And that too, solution means I'll take them generally in water, because water helps to dissociate them into ions. When I have ions, free ions, they'll start moving to the respective metal rod having opposite charge, and then helps current to flow from the same. All right. And as I told you, ions are the ones that is going to carry charge. If I tell you in short, this is suppose the tank, we call it electrolytic tank. We are going to take metal rod or graphite rod, basically something that's conductor of electricity, and we'll connect it to the battery. Positive terminal, negative terminal. This rod will act as positive, this will be negative. We call it electrode. I took one of the session on the previous, 9th Hindi channel, where I talked about all the possible terms of electrolysis. And here we take our electrolyte. Suppose I'm taking sodium chloride aqueous solution. I'll be having opposite ions, and when electricity is conducted, these free mobile ions are going to move towards the oppositely charged metal rod, oppositely charged electrodes, and starts showing chemical change and also showing current to flow from the same. If I'll connect it with a bulb, bulb will glow. And the conductivity of electrolyte depends upon ion concentration, like what exactly is the concentration of the electrolyte that I have taken will dissociate in equally. Suppose I am telling that I have taken 1 molar solution of NaCl. When it dissociates, I will get 1 molar sodium ions as well as 1 molar chloride ions. So concentration of ions will also matter for the conduction of electricity, how much electricity are going to be conducted. All right, positive and negative charge are equal. Obviously, dissociation will be equal in terms of positive and negative ions. So there will be an equilibrium. If I write NaCl, I'll say that if it will dissociate to give equal amount of NaCl and Cl negative ions. So there will be an equilibrium in terms of getting the opposite ions. And these were I'm talking about electrolyte. When I talked about non-electrolyte substances, students, these are the ones that are not going to dissociate. There will be no ionization. There will be no free kind of ions. One example I can give you, sugar. That's C12H22O11. That's a sugar. Your carbohydrate, one more example, C6H12O6, your glucose, right? And one more term to know that we'll be using again, degree of dissociation. That's extent to which my electrolyte is going to dissociate. Degree of dissociation, that how much dissociation of your given substance is going to occur. 40%, 50%, whatever it is. And there will be a fixed formula also. We'll discuss it later. So students, I hope now you can tell us that generally conduction of electricity, that means electrolyte that I'm going to choose are the ones that are generally ionic compounds. Ionic, and one more, we'll talk about that also in this session. Ionic compounds, but in what form? Either in molten form, molten so that their force of attraction, that's electrostatic force of attraction, can be easily overcome and ions will be almost free or mobile. And when I take in dissolved form, means in aqueous solution form, water also helps to dissociate these ions and making these ions free. And free ions only can conduct electricity and can move to opposite electrodes. So please do remember that. That electrovalent compound in what state? Solid state is not going to conduct electricity, will not act as an electrolyte. But in molten and aqueous solution, we are going to take it. And as I told you, there's one more kind of a compound that we can take, that's polar covalent compound. Covalent compounds are the one I'm taking one of the example, that's HCl, because polar covalent is covalent, that's made by sharing of electrons. If one of the atom is more electronegative than the other, going to pull these electron towards itself, and there will be some charge separation. Hydrogen slight positive and chlorine slight negative, right? Because these electrons are pushed more towards chlorine. And so charge occurs whenever you put them into water, they'll be able to dissociate into ions and can conduct electricity. So they'll be able to ionize in solution, can conduct electricity. So generally my electrolyte will be either ionic compounds or polar covalent compounds. All right, you got it properly. So let's talk about all the possible terms and all the possible points that you should know in electrolysis while performing electrolysis. Number one, electricity force to move cations towards cathode and anion towards anode. Very good. Let's talk about the same also. So students, as I told you, we take an electrolytic tank and we take a battery, positive terminal, negative terminal, means this metal rod will get positive, this is negative. Do remember that positive terminal of the battery is called as anode and negative is cathode. Reason how to remember that? Cathode attract cation, and that's what is written, cations move towards cathode. Means if you're taking whatever solution, suppose I'm talking about NaCl only because NaCl is the most suitable example, we see it every time. So suppose we have ions in the electrolyte of Na positive and Cl negative. Cathode attract cation. Cathode is that rod, that electrode that can attract cation. That means Na positive. Why so? Opposite attract. Because cathode is negatively charged, connected to the negative terminal of the battery. So cathode attract cation. Anode attracts anions, that can attract anions. Anion means negatively charged. So chloride will move towards this positive terminal. Okay, that's anode. Anode will be positive because it has to attract anion, that means negative. Cathode must be negative because it has to attract cation, that's positive. All right, and number of electron lost at anode is equal to number of electron gain at cathode. Students, when these electrons, when I talk about the anode, suppose in this also, chloride ion will move towards anode. What will happen at anode? How anode is getting positive charge? Because it's pushing electron away from its metal rod, away from its electrode to the battery side. How come? See that. Two chloride ions came at the anode and gives chlorine gas, and 2 electron it lost. So what happens at anode, students, please make it a point that my chloride ion, my negative ions will go so that they can get rid of its charge. Every chlorine is having 1 negative charge, 2 chlorine in total 2 negative charge. So they combined and lost these 2 electrons. And these 2 electrons were sent back to the battery side. So anode is positive because it's sending electron back, sending negative charge back. Are you getting this point? Yeah. So one more point that you understood here, what exactly is happening at anode? And you can see that there is loss of electron. My substance coming is showing loss of electron. And if you remember, loss of electron is oxidation. Means at anode, oxidation occurs. AO, you can remember in that way, AO, anode, oxidation. And when I talk about cathode, cathode is negative charge because look at this number of electron gained at cathode. Cathode, on the side of cathode, these electrons are coming from the battery side. So cathode isn't rich of electron. Electrons are coming towards the cathode, and that's how your metal ions are coming and gaining those electrons. So whatever the electron lost by anode, and those number of electrons will reach to the cathode, and the number must be equal only, same only, makes sense only. And cathode, as you see that what is happening at cathode, your Na positive is going there so that they can gain electron and can give you your metals. So what do we see? At my cathode, gain of electron means reduction. On cathode, reduction occurs. On anode, oxidation occurs. AO, anode oxidation. CR, cathode reduction. Okay, CR, class representative. AO, that simple word, you can remember that. Apart from that, products of electrolysis are obtained at electrodes as reactions occurs at the surface of electrode. So as we see in this reaction, at anode, we get our chlorine At cathode, we get our sodium. So these are the ones that we'll get at the surface of electrode, at the surface of anode and cathode. Make sense? It means half of the electrolysis process you already understood. Only hydrogen and metals at cathode, and hence called electropositive. So students, yeah, it's always 1 1, doesn't make sense, but yeah, doesn't make much difference also. We need to focus on the session. If you remember again, see that this is positive and this is negative. Positive terminal, negative terminal, and suppose I'm again taking Na positive, Cl negative. Only hydrogen and metal at cathode. Cathode is negative charge, and you know that if I take ionic compounds, metals are the one that get positive charge, metals are the one that's electropositive. So metals are the ones in the ionic form, cationic form, will move towards cathode, and hydrogen also, because hydrogen is like a versatile one and can carry positive charge as well. So either Na positive or hydrogen in the positive form can move towards cathode, because cathode is negative terminal and can go over there. So hydrogen metal at cathode, and hence called electropositive. These substances are electropositive. That's what are going towards cathode. Only non-metals at anode, and hence called electronegative, because your anode is negative, your anode is positive terminal, and you know that your non-metals are the one that will carry negative charge in the compound. So non-metals being negative will go towards anode, because these are electronegative in nature, carrying negative charge, more susceptible they were towards electron. Okay, so hydrogen metals cathode, electropositive, non-metals at anode, and electronegative. All of the points are equally important. Please, you should write them into some small bullet points. So we get one term, you please keep that in your mind. You know that there is a European country, name is Croatia. Ma'am is helping to remember these things. Always use the analogies, use the mnemonics, will help you. So just remember this. In Croatia, just remember these 4 words. And what does it tell you, students? Croatia, just let me know in the comment section. Or should I tell you? Ma'am, doesn't make much difference for us. Please, you only tell. Okay. So Croatia, cathode shows reduction and oxidation occurs at anode. Okay. Cathode shows reduction. That's what ma'am told you, because at cathode gain of electron occurs by your metal ion. And anode shows oxidation, because anode is positive and your substance will come and lose its electron over there. Cathode reduction, anode oxidation. This will help you to remember that. Now Faraday's law of electrolysis, because when we perform electrolysis, Faraday also gave its input to understand that in a better way, and told us that mass of substance that is going to produce, we also represent by W, weight also, is directly proportional to the quantity of electricity passed. The weight that's going to be produced, that's going to be submitted over my electrodes, is directly proportional to the quantity of electricity that we have passed from the same. Directly proportional. All right. So I hope this point makes sense, as ma'am told you from the very starting in all the form, all the possible form, that at electrolysis we are seeing this redox reaction, reduction and oxidation occurs simultaneously. At cathode, your metal ion is coming. At cathode, your metal ion is coming and taking the electron, gain of electron, and shows what? Gain of electron means reduction. At anode, my negative ion is going and losing its electron, and loss of electron is oxidation. Oxidation and reduction takes place simultaneously, and we can easily see that in the dissociation of NaCl. Na positive, Cl negative, 2. What will happen? 2 Na positive ions will take 2 Na positive ion will come, take 2 electron to give 2 sodium metal at the cathode. On the other hand, 2 chloride ion will lose 2 electron to give chlorine gas at the anode. As simple as that. The number of electron lost must be equal to the number of electron gain, and that's how we balance the chemical reaction. The electron transfer must be same. Loss and gain of electron must be same. Okay, students, I think now you understood that in a very better way. And always remember this one more point, that whenever you perform electrolysis, you have to supply DC current, not AC current. Direct current means a fixed constant current voltage you need to provide. Suppose I'm talking about 12 volt. So fixed direct current has to be applied, not going to be AC current that we use in our home that can change the product on my electrodes, and that we don't want, can reverse the process as well, that we don't want. So DC current is going to be applied. And I hope you understood that the electrolyte that we are going to take either in the fused state, fused means molten form only, so that ions will be free, or in the aqueous solution forms, again for the reason water helps to make the ions free. That could be not NaCl, that could be any ionic compound, or that could be any polar covalent compound. So I hope you understood this. Solid, no conduction of electricity, but in aqueous and molten form I can definitely take it. Yes. And there is one more point that you should know in this process that we are going to use. Faraday gave the law of electrolysis. So do remember that whenever we say that the quantity of electricity that is going to pass, that's 2 Faraday, 3 Faraday, what exactly it means? 1 Faraday amount of electricity is equal to 96500 coulomb, 96,500 coulomb. So 1 Faraday of electricity pass, that means we are talking about 96,500 coulomb is the unit of charge that's going to pass. Okay, so this is something you should know, helps in some of the numerical solution. All right, students. So now electrolysis and its characteristics in detail ma'am told you. I hope now there will be no issue in understanding electrolysis. The next session I'm going to take about the case only, that what are the different cases of electrolysis, and we'll talk about that in detail. So I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you got all the topics that I've taught you. Very, very important, students. And do let me know in the comment section that how was the session. Did you like it? And what you are hoping for the next time? And I'll come up with the same. But you all have to do is to stay tuned to both the channel. Okay. You can select your grade, students, by going to the link that was given by Vedantu 910 channel, pinned by Vedantu 910 channel. Select your grade, select your target ICSE, and take your subscription at Vedantu. That's a very good opportunity to have it, because sessions are too much fun. Quizzes will be there in all the sessions. Leaderboard will be there. Interaction with your master teachers and class teachers. And we help you to try to improvise as much as we can. So you can choose from 1, 3 and 6 month subscription. And if you'll apply the coupon code AGEPRO, that will help you to save from 20 to 43%. If you personally ask me what is best, all courses are equally best. But if I talk about the duration of time that's left for exam, this makes maximum sense. So do not miss this. I would love to see you in my classes. You know all the information now. So what I all have to say is a big thank you to all of you. Keep following all the videos. Stay tuned. Keep liking, sharing it to your friends. And if you're new, please subscribe to the channel. That's must for all the upcoming videos on your dashboard. So this is it from my side. I'll meet you next time. Until then, take care of yourself. Stay happy and keep learning.